all the fallout from Money in the Bank. Let's talk about SmackDown Live. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spass Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your June 20th SmackDown Live review coming off of Money in the Bank. Get the house cleaning out of the way as we always do. Look up there, look up in the annotation, join the Q&A if you want to have your questions answered in the next Q&A. Also, big thank you to those of you that joined us for the pay-per-view Pick 'em for Money in the Bank. Scores are in. I mean, if you're following Twitter, you already know who won. But as I say, shout out to everybody that joined us for the fun. I had 4 points. Guapo had 4 points. Kristen got up to 10. Strife 19 and Matt Donnelly both had 8. Mizark 10 had 10. That's a little apropos. Fortune 4 Shooters had 11. OK Fabe joined us and he had 6. And Cheney, for the second pay-per-view in a row, won with 12 points. So congratulations to Cheney815. Go check him out. Now, Money in the Bank. Now, what was everybody pissed off about Money in the Bank was the women's Money in the Bank, which we were all happy, you know, progress in the women's division, etc. And everybody's pissed off about the finish. Now, since the show started off with a video replay of that, I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this. My 2 cents, most of you out there are being morons about this. I'm just going to put that out there right now. Do I have a problem with Carmella winning? No. Carmella, of any of those women in the division, needed it the most. She's the newest. Becky has a following. Natalya always has her family lineage to fall back on. Charlotte, and I don't mean this in a babyface heel kind of way, but I mean it in more of a standard bearer kind of way, is sort of the John Cena of women's division in WWE as a whole. Tamina is there. Carmella is the one that really needs something to bolster her in the division. She needs to get away from the crickets reaction. Do I mind her winning? Absolutely not. I think it's actually a great decision. I picked Charlotte, which is why I didn't win the pay-per-view pick'em. But Carmella makes sense. And the way she did it makes sense. Now, do I like it? No. Do I think it's lame? Absolutely. But it's good that I think it's lame because it gets her fucking heat. And it's good. And I'm not going to go on a whole diatribe about this. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to speak to you guys from the wrestler's point of view. But those of you out there that are pulling the feminist shtick or are saying that, you know, this is the downfall of the women's revolution. Oh, we've taken such a big step back because a woman won the match. No. Or, sorry, because a man won the match for a woman. No. First of all, as we're going to get into, there's many precedences for this. People with tag team partners that have helped them win ladder matches, etc. I go back, my first and foremost example was Rhino trying to help Edge and Christian win TLC 2 at WrestleMania. Nobody threw a flag on that when you had the Hardys, Edge, Christian, and the Dudleys come in there, and Rhino and Spike Dudley and Lita, somebody of the opposite sex, all got in the match and all tried to get them towards their goals. Also, it's not stifling the women's division at all. The fact is, the history was from this match happening. The history-making moment was that the women got to compete in a Money in the Bank ladder match. That happened. Like the women's Hell in the Cell match happened. Like the Steel Cage match happened, like the Iron Man match happened, like the main eventing Raw and SmackDown and NXT and pay-per-views has been happening, like the Mae Young Classic is going to happen. This does not stifle the women's division and the progress of the women's division. You guys know me. I'm a huge proponent of women's wrestling and the escalation of women's wrestling, and I think what WWE is doing is getting us to where we need to be. But here's the thing, the fact that you are pissed off about this, the fact that WWE knew you were pissed off about this, proves that they do give a shit about women's wrestling. Because they wouldn't do this. It wouldn't piss you off if the escalation of women's wrestling didn't matter. It wouldn't piss you off if women getting these opportunities didn't matter. WWE wouldn't use it as a storyline and as a big case of uproar if they didn't think WWE women's escalation was important. If they didn't think that the escalation of women was important and the escalation of women having this particular opportunity was important, they wouldn't have played off how horrible Ellsworth was to break it. Why am I beeping? Why is this a thing? Twitter, thank you. I love you guys, but not right now. No. Carmella winning, great, my opinion. The way they did it was lame. But you know what? It's supposed to be lame. And at the end of the day, you're not supposed to like what Carmella and Ellsworth do because they're heels. How angry you are right now proves they did their job correctly. How angry you are right now proves how successful WWE has made you in being invested in the women's division. Their escalation, their promotion, their revolution of the women's division. If it wasn't a success, you all wouldn't be mad right now. So all of you that are like, oh, pulling the feminist shtick, pulling the women's division shtick, oh my god, we're going back to ground zero, we're going to be back to bra and panties matches next week. Go fuck yourself. Get over yourself. Remember that it's just wrestling and move on. We start off with all the other women in the back, Natty, Charlotte, Becky, Tamina, they're all bickering outside Daniel Bryan's locker room, who says, we're going to address this tonight, I'm going to make a conclusion tonight, but for right now, I'm going to sit back and see what Carmella and Ellsworth have to say. Switch over into the ring. Carmella and Ellsworth in the ring. Ellsworth is an idiot, which he reminds us of every time he picks up a microphone. Carmella announces that you are about to enter the fabulous era of Carmella, and then she hands her briefcase over to Ellsworth because he's a bitch. Also, another thing I'm going to say. Women valets have been interfering in men's matches for years, and it's never been anything other than to garner heat. Ellsworth is not a true male competitor. Ellsworth isn't a John Cena or a Kevin Owens or a Baron Corbin or an AJ Styles or a Sami Zayn or a Shinsuke Nakamura. He is Carmella's valet. So if you want to treat women as an equal opportunity, then they should equally be able to have opposite sex valets affecting their matches in a storyline. They're heels. It's supposed to... Anyways. Says she's been trending worldwide. I'm sorry, I got off on that little tangent for a second, but she says, I've been trending worldwide, and I deserve to trend worldwide because I made history on Sunday, I wasn't trending because I made history. I was trending because all you can say is that I cheated the women's division. I set the women's division back. It's such a travesty about him. And I say, I don't care. I've been overlooked ever since I got here. I was the last person drafted. Let me be clear. I'm not here for your girl power movement. And at the end of the day, none of it really matters. And I like that. Now, whether a babyface or a heel says that, I like that because it's fine for WWE to acknowledge as a whole that their women's division is getting better. But for all the women in the division to be saying, oh, well, you know, we're fine. We're all making history together. We're all sitting around a campfire and singing Kumbaya. We're going to elevate the division together and all that sort of thing is fine to a point. But then it looks like an agenda by WWE. If you have one or two women in the division that are saying, look, I don't care about this division as a whole. I care about bringing myself to the top. That's a more realistic take on things, and that's where I got to give them a little bit of credit here. You know, the problem with everybody else is they wanted to make history on Sunday while I was planning for my future. No, don't act like it's never happened before. Don't act like it's never happened with the men. Kane helping Rollins in 2014 and Wyatt keeping Roman from winning in 2015 were the two examples that she gave. Now Daniel Bryan wants to decide my fate and can say that I broke the rules, say that I cheated, and she repeated the line verbatim that JBL said on Sunday. Now JBL's an idiot most of the time, but he makes an absolutely crystal clear golden point. How do you break a rule that doesn't exist? Money in the Bank is a no DQ match. That's another thing that really makes the whole, oh my god, she cheated thing really, really laughable. In the back, Charlotte is watching the goings-on with Carmella and Ellsworth in the ring. She gives her 2 cents. Daniel Bryan mentioned something about her neck that was never really resolved. She says, I'm not here to talk about my neck. She tells Daniel Bryan to do the right thing and sort of goes off. Nice welcome back for Daniel Bryan. He's got all the women bickering in his ear, and it's the guy just had a kid. He's probably just trying to ease back into work, and he has to come into this. Big E versus Jimmy Uso. Now here's one I will agree with. New Day versus the Usos on Sunday. Fantastic match. We didn't get too much comedy from the New Day, which is great. We got this, I keep saying it, but this really, really sick heel rendition that the Usos have created for themselves, and they left, and that was a bummer. To have the questionable women's match and then this match right after that was sort of a non-finish when they walked out was a bit of a bummer. I will give you guys that 100%. New Day basically come out and cut a promo on the Usos being cowards. Now, when they were walking to the ring, they had a skeleton dressed in a the Usos Day One-ish t-shirt, and that wasn't part of their shtick when they came out, so I don't really know what the deal was with that. But it's Big E versus Jimmy Uso. It doesn't go very long. Straight rights by Jimmy, a boot and a headlock, a belly-to-belly overhead suplex ×3 by Big E, Samoan drop by Jimmy, Uranagi by Big E. On the outside, they switch to the outside for some reason. Kofi Kingston hits a trust fall on Jey Uso before Jey Uso can get involved. Right hand by Jimmy, big ending by Big E, and Big E gets the win. Now, I hate that they're calling Kofi Kingston's outside the ring move that he's calling it a trust fall. I know that that's what it looks like. You know, when you go to therapy classes, couples counseling or any of that shit, they do the trust fall, you fall, somebody else is supposed to catch you. The last person you trust in a match is your opponent. So that is a fucking stupid name for a move. Also, Jimmy, during the course of the match, kicked one of the other members of the New Day off the apron before they could get involved because they were, you know, banging on the apron trying to get the crowd involved. It's what I always say about the New Day. How are they supposed to be the sympathetic baby faces when they have the numbers advantage? It's a very awkward thing to get around as a fan, knowing that you're supposed to cheer for the New Day when they have an advantage over the heels. Especially when their biggest, baddest, you know, the tank of the team, Big E, is the one that's in the match, throwing one of the Usos around the ring like he's nothing. Great match, really short. We're going to get another tag team title shot down the line, I suppose. Natalya and Tamina track down Daniel Bryan, and they make their case. Natty tries to suck up to her, while Tamina's more like, you know, do what's right or I'm going to punch you in the face. Then, because we're talking about the Money in the Bank match, Naomi's in the back, flapping her cocksucker about a match that she wasn't even in, trying to stay relevant. Lana puts her in her place, and we're getting a rematch next week, which is fantastic. And it's not the only rematch we're getting next week. Stay tuned for that. Dolph Ziggler versus Nakamura, and I promise you guys, I've got notes for this, but if you saw their match at Backlash, you saw this match. Great match. I think these guys work fantastic together. It's all good. They bounce off each other well. The showmanship, like, you know, show off Dolph Ziggler, even though he's kind of a heel now, versus the out there enigmatic style of show off that Shinsuke Nakamura is. I think for Ziggler to come out and be as flamboyant and show-off-ish as he is, and then get so mad that Nakamura is very similar in that regard, shows great contradictions, shows great hypocrisy on his part as a heel, which is fantastic. He can turn up the aggression when he needs to. Shinsuke Nakamura's got the strong style, so he's already at that level. I think these guys are a great pairing. I wish I gave a shit more about Ziggler as a character in general, so that I could believe this was a bigger match, and not treat it like another rematch. Bryan is talking to Sami Zayn, says Sami Zayn's going to get a match with Baron Corbin next week. 4 reasons, and then Becky makes her case to Daniel Bryan as well. I thought they were going to have everybody else go to Daniel Bryan but Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch is kind of like that tomboy, roll with the punches type character. It's like, okay, we got fucked over on Sunday, I'll get him next time, and go on. But instead they went the other direction, and I say this much the same way I talk about Ember Moon on NXT when she does all her interviews after she loses a match. They show her as being very human, very, very, not fragile, but very human, very broken down, very upset, you know, looking like she's going to cry almost. And after we saw Enzo on Monday, there's been a lot of crying. Don't know if that was the best move on their part for, as far as building up Becky Lynch, who's got sort of like that, like I say, that tomboy, tough type demeanor to her that just, it didn't fit. It's not going to make me not a fan of Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch is amazing. I think despite the fact that she's a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, I still think they underutilize her in certain respects, especially now that you have people like Charlotte on the roster, and like when she was going up against Alexa Bliss. Big fan of Becky Lynch, outshined by Alexa Bliss a whole lot. So she's, I gotta believe, in the reserve right now in that division, and I have to believe that they're going to recognize that and bring her back up to the forefront. Kevin Owens comes out and cuts a promo about how 5 other men conspired against him because they were afraid of him in the Money in the Bank match, which is great. America is the land of opportunity. As the United States of America champion, I'm here to do an open challenge. But whoever answers the open challenge has to be from Dayton, Ohio. AJ Styles comes out, and Owens shuts him down because he's not from Dayton, Ohio. The American Alpha music comes on, and this is really fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm happy to see American Alpha back. But for the team to come back so that Chad Gable can one-on-one answer this open challenge was very, very strange. He said he just moved to Dayton this morning, so he qualifies for this open challenge. He gives the address of the arena. He gives a random address in Dayton, Ohio. The commentators have to fill in the blank that that's actually the address of the arena. Styles gets between the two of them and hypes up what a good match this could be, backs up Gable's claim that, you know, he just changed his address to that address and rah. And we have Owens versus Gable for reasons. I mean, as I say, you assume a good match out of this. I'm happy to see American Alpha back. Jason Jordan didn't come to the ring with Gable. That has to be said too. He came out to the apron with him and then sort of gave him a high five and went back to the back, which is cool. It gives that whole, yeah, we're a team. No, I'm not going to come back and give you the numbers advantage. Yes, we are baby faces. We're going to do this one-on-one. Styles on commentary, though, kind of negates that point. A whole lot of Gable and a little bit of Owens in this match. Rolling front slams by Gable to start the match because Owens doesn't really know what he's gotten himself into, because he's looking at AJ Styles being like, what the fuck are you trying to do? You know, who said you could make this match type of thing. Rolling front slams by Gable and an ankle lock. Forearms and headbutts by Gable and a tornado DDT. A top rope moonsault by Gable is fucking pretty, but Gable eats the ring post. Makes a comeback though, hits the rolling Chaos Theory suplex, which is fucking brilliant, but he ends up hitting his face on the ropes somehow, or he falls into the ropes and Owens kicks it up into his face. That's enough. Little bit of an offset. Pop-up powerbomb. Owens gets the obvious win. I don't think bringing back American Alpha for one of them to have a singles match and lose was a great way to bring back American Alpha. Great to see them on TV. Great to see somebody with the reputation of AJ Styles on commentary putting over what the fuck's his name? Chad Gable like $1 million. That's all good. If he was a singles guy, you gotta leave Jason Jordan in the back and wonder what he's doing. Rumors are that Shelton Benjamin is coming to SmackDown once again, and hopefully not injured this time. The Hype Bros are in the back, making their case to Daniel Bryan, showing the match 6 months ago where Zack Ryder, A, won them a #1 contendership, but B, also fucked up his leg for 6 months. Daniel Bryan tells him, you know, in the 6 months that you've been gone, Mojo's been doing his own thing. The tag team division, the dynamic of the division has changed ever since then. But if you want a shot, I'll give you a match against the Usos next week. I guess going with that theory of if you beat the champions, you become the #1 contenders. Which is a little cliche in this day and age. But I mean, the Hype Bros versus the Usos. Hype Bros, like, super hyper, no pun intended, positive, energetic guys versus these new badass, we don't give a fuck, we're gonna break you Usos, could be a great contrast. Yeah, you're getting a similar thing with the New Day, but the New Day is a comedy shtick, and it's a 3-on-2 team. They're doing the whole Freebirds angle, whereas Hype Bros are just that generic, happy to be there, energetic, want to get the job done type guys, going up against the Usos, who are basically there to crush dreams at this point, which is going to be a cool contrast. We'll see how it goes. Daniel Bryan calls out all the women. Carmella's says that some points that Carmella made at the beginning of the night are valid. A Money in the Bank match is no disqualification. There's no rule against your valet or partner or whatever coming to help you. Giving credence to the heels. Because here's another thing that you have to say about Carmella, is she could have just come out there and talked some bullshit, but the most annoying thing, or one of the most heat-gathering things, at least in my opinion, a heel can go out there and say some shitty stuff, but a heel is even better when the shitty stuff that they're saying is true. It pisses off the audience because they don't like what the heel is saying, but they can't argue with it either, and that's frustrating. And that's the kind of heat that Carmella had at the beginning of the night. Daniel Bryan then turns it to the point of, you know, this is the first ever women's match. We're already in brand new territory, and nobody has ever actually had somebody win a ladder match for them. So Carmella, you know, Carmella is going to not only be the first ever winner. Why? Not only the first ever winner of the women's Money in the Bank, she's going to be the first ever women's Money in the Bank winner to hand her briefcase back over. Ellsworth is an idiot, tells Daniel Bryan he's gotten soft, having a hippie, crunchy daughter, vegan, whatever, has made him soft. Daniel Bryan actually gets pretty fucking serious, because like even Daniel Bryan, when he was a wrestler, when he got serious, there was still a little bit of that laid back nice guy. I wish I didn't have to say this. As soon as Ellsworth mentioned, we're not going to get a match between Daniel Bryan and James Ellsworth, I'm not getting that, but when he ramped it up and he went totally serious and basically said, if you ever talk about my daughter again, I'm going to beat the shit out of you and fire you. It was a really cool little turn in the Daniel Bryan dynamic, which is what everybody bickers for a while. And Daniel Bryan basically announces that there's going to be a Money in the Bank rematch next week on SmackDown. Now, two schools of thought on this. Number one, cool, we're going to see another Money in the Bank match. 2, the women are going to get a chance to shine in another Money in the Bank match. 3, we've got a whole lot of Money in the Bank rematch happening next week. We're going to have a women's title rematch, a women's Money in the Bank rematch. We're going to have the Hype Bros getting their shot at the Usos. It's a loaded show for next week. Here's the bad thing. How the fuck are heels supposed to get heat if the general manager or whoever just comes in and basically wipes it off the whiteboard and says, well, that never happened, the pay-per-view never happened, the pay-per-view was irrelevant, this thing that you're really, really pissed off about Carmella and you want to see her get her comeuppance about, we've just eliminated it. It's bullshit, and all the heat that she got from that bullshit ending, all that anger from the crowd that WWE could use if they used it properly. Here's this thing. Here's this, again, I'm going to say, I said it before and I'll say it again. Here's this women's division, this women's movement, this, we want women's wrestling to be better than this. This thing that we hold in such high regard that got squashed on Sunday. We want, as a wrestling crowd, to be mad at that, because we should be. And now Daniel Bryan's completely taken away our reason to be mad. So where does that leave the heel? Where does that leave Carmella, who needed something, even if it was our hate? Roman Reigns doesn't get very much from us, but Roman Reigns has our hate. He can go on that. Carmella doesn't even have that, because we don't give a shit about Carmella. On Sunday, whether you liked what they did or not, especially if you didn't, they gave Carmella something. They gave us a reason to hate her. They gave us a reason to get up in arms in defense of the division as a whole against this one person that's making the entire division look bad. Hey, we know this division's doing great. Fuck you, you're making this division look bad. That's a good thing. And they took it away. I'm happy we're going to get another ladder match next week. It's going to be cool to watch. It's going to be cool for me to come up and talk to you guys about. It's cool that we're going to get another women's title match. Maybe the trash bag's finally going to lose her championship. This is a bad move. In the long run, this is a shitty move. If their goal was to elevate Carmella up to the level of the rest of the women on the roster, give her something. Because as I say, Naomi's the SJW fan favorite right now. Lana's got the popularity based off of her association with Rusev. Charlotte is amazing. Natty at least has the fan following. Tamina's been gone for a fuckload of a long time, and she's a powerhouse in the ring. She's fun to watch. Becky Lynch is sort of that fun, fan favorite, tomboy, like girl next door that you could go have a drink with type person. Carmella had nothing. You gave her something on Sunday. And whether the fans realize it or not, and I'm sorry guys if I'm sounding condescending right now, whether you realize it or not, WWE gave Carmella something on Sunday. They took it away tonight because, in my personal opinion, too many of you bitched about it. And hate me for that if you want. The comment section is down there for a reason. But this is a retarded move based on the retarded vocal minority of the fan base who don't fucking get it. And that's sad, because they could have had something really badass here. And they're going to give it to somebody else now. They're probably going to give it to Becky Lynch, and good for Becky Lynch. They're probably going to give it to Charlotte, who doesn't need it because she's going to get a championship match anyway because she's fucking Charlotte. They had something really good right there. And it slipped right through their fingers because they didn't know it, or they bowed to the crowd like they do. As I say, I probably sound like a hypocrite because I'm looking forward to the match next week. I just think it's stupid that it's happening. If you want to have these guys, if you want to have Carmella go in next week to another ladder match and defend the briefcase, but don't just wipe out what she did, because the hate, I hate to harp on this, and I know I'm being repetitive. The hate generated on Sunday from what she did is gone now. You're all fucking morons. I don't know what to say. do something right next week. Have her cheat again next week without using Ellsworth. Have her, like, I don't know, have her buddy up with somebody. Have her and Lana have some deal in the back where Lana comes in and runs in and costs everybody else the match. Where you can say, oh, well, it wasn't a man, so it's okay, or some, I don't know. I'm not going to be popular with this, I know that, but it's fucking retarded. It's going to be great next week. The match is going to be great. The match as a whole, this is the other thing I didn't say at the beginning. The match as a whole on Sunday was historic. The match as a whole was great. Great effort put forth by all 5 women. I said in the preview video, it's not the 5 women that I would have chosen to have the first women's Money in the Bank match, and I still stick to that. I still stick to the fact that you could have stuck, I don't know, like an Asuka, even a Bayley, an Alexa Bliss, a Mickie James, somebody experienced like a Mickie James in there, and varied it up a little bit. Not the women I would have chose, but the women that they did choose did put on a great match. And that's the other thing that's being overlooked in this whole scenario of, we have to not like this because we have to put on our feminist hats and men are evil and they're taking everything from us and rah and we're going to make up reasons to not like this. I'm sorry, I'm beating it into the ground, I know, but holy crap. Anyways, let's talk about the main event. The main event is interesting too. Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper, and this is a match that makes me wonder when they put the men's Money in the Bank. Okay, I agree 100% with Baron Corbin winning as well. Again, much like Carmella, he's the one that made the most sense to win. But this match here, Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper, made me wonder where the fuck was Luke Harper when they were putting that ladder match together. I'm not saying he should have won, but Luke Harper would have been another great, big, powerful guy in the match to make the match just that little bit better. Money in the Bank match is usually 6 people, and I get that. They only had 5 in the women's match. Also, the fact that there was no surprise 6th woman doesn't break my heart either. I know all of you guys are crying about that. If they had gone with an odd number here and thrown 7 in the men's, that wouldn't have hurt my feelings either. And I'm not really upset that Mike and Maria Kanellis were not on this show. Maria's back in WWE. Awesome. I remember Maria from back in the day when she was the stupid ditzy character, whatever. Apparently, she's gone to ROH and TNA, which I don't watch anymore, and made herself into this incredible, like, bitch valet character, which seems to come off great on screen. I don't know a thing about Mike Bennett, or Mike Kanellis, as they're calling him, I guess. I know a lot of people are thinking that this guy should have had a brief stint in NXT before coming to the main roster. Not everybody can do that. AJ Styles proves that not everybody has to do that. But the fact that they debuted at the pay-per-view and didn't immediately show up this Tuesday, maybe wait. Maybe they don't have a spot to drop them yet. Maybe they just wanted to make their presence known. Maybe they're going to throw Maria into the ladder match next week. That could be very nice, very chillin'. Rambling promos, rambling reviews is what we're doing tonight. Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper. Luke Harper should have been in the ladder match on Sunday, is my point. Colorado will tie up, forearms in the corner by Jinder. Drop kick by Harper, which is always nice, followed by a suicide dive. Neck vice with a post by Jinder. He's got him in the neck vice. He's got the knee posted in the back. Then he rears back and turns it into knee shots in the back. Chops by Harper. Back to the neck vice once again. Butterfly overhead vertical suplex by Harper. Slingshot senton by Harper. Boot by Harper. Black hole slam by Harper. Superplex by Jinder. And then they're interrupted. You hear the Baron Corbin music, who makes his way down the ramp with a big smile on his face, all the way to the ring, all the way around the ring, all the way around the ring, and back up the ramp with some fuck you mind games, which is fucking great. Super kick by Harper, but a boot and a coloss get the win for Jinder. But that's not the end of the night either. The next music we hear is Randy Orton's, who lays out the Bollywood boys in the rampway, beats down Jinder, including a suspension DDT right out of the timekeeper's area to the floor. Back in the ring, RKO's both Bollywood boys as Jinder bails through the crowd. Now, whole bunch of cool things happening right here. You got Luke Harper spending some face time in the ring with Jinder Mahal, the current WWE champion. Good for him. Maybe the fact that he wasn't included in the ladder match is going to make people miss him. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, gets a bigger crowd behind him, maybe something cool happens for him. Corbin immediately makes a statement of, hey, I've got the briefcase and I'm around, motherfucker. I'm going to be around all the time. You know, Circle in the ring. I'm going to be cliche once again, like the commentators would say, circle in the ring like that shark that smells blood in the water. He's just had this big beatdown match with Luke Harper. And then out of that, you've got Randy Orton, who's just like, fuck you, man. You put your hands on my dad on Sunday. I'm going to kick the shit out of you and your little buddies. The Bollywood boys, the Singh brothers, whatever, they're going to die one day. The way they get thrown around, one of them ate the suicide dive by Luke Harper, and it was just like he landed on a small child, and it looked fucking great. I have to, on the one hand, I have to laugh because that's what it's sort of designed to do. On the other hand, I really got to give a shout out to the Singh brothers, who are taking a hell of a beating without even having a match. When they do break away from Jinder Mahal, because I predict that they will, when they get sick of Jinder Mahal using them as shields, and they break away, and they go babyface, and they go back to the Bollywood Boys gimmick, they will be a decent addition to the SmackDown tag team division. I would love to see them versus the New Day, or them versus, say, Breezango, or the Colognes, or whatever. I think when that time comes, they will be a great addition to the tag team division, and I don't think that's something a lot of people are thinking about with their current role with Jinder Mahal. Anyways, all in all, I know I hate what they did in the aftermath of the women's ladder match. I do. It's fucking retarded. I'm gonna come back next week. Whatever they do next week is probably gonna be retarded too. That aside, this was a pretty damn good show, and they crammed a lot of it into it. They answered a lot of questions and statements from Sunday, which is always good. Carmella got to come out and cut one victorious bitchy heel promo before they let the wind out of her sails, and they better make up for that next week. Anyways, that's been SmackDown. I've of course been Spaz Phoenix, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye guys.